You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jeanne Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jeanne Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact. Hello, and welcome to Business Wealth Impact. Today we have a lovely guest, Cathy Nesbitt, who's a health and wellness advocate. Also, founder of Cathy's Crawly, Composters, Cathy's Sprouters, and Cathy's Laughter Club. A multi-award-winning visionary who inspires individuals to live sustainably. Cathy is a certified laughter yoga teacher, appointed laughter ambassador by Dr. Madan Kataria, the pioneer of laughter yoga. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you, Jeanne. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here too. So tell us more about what's the importance of laughter? How can we get that more into our lives, and how is that going to change our lives for the better?
Yeah, so today we're living in a perpetual state of stress. Stress is our habit today. My goal is to make joy our habit, and there's some easy things we can do. Ever heard that laughter is the best medicine?
I have, yes.
Right. So laughter is the best medicine. I ask everybody that because I'm still looking for that person who hasn't heard it. So if laughter is the best medicine, and it is, why is it? And there's about 50 years of research showing that laughter is the best medicine. So if laughter is the best medicine, why is it so challenging for us to achieve a sustainable, abundant, reliable laughter for our health? It's the critical mind. Our mind gets in the way. So when we hear a joke, it goes through a bunch of filters. Is this a good joke? Do I like this humor? Are these people, is it safe to laugh with the people I'm with? What will they think of me? So once it's gone through all those filters, laughter is conditional. Laughter yoga is not about jokes or comedy. It's laughing for the health of it. Because jokes are cultural. Two people going somewhere, not funny for those two people. So this is something, it started in 1995 by a medical doctor, and Dr. Kataria's goal is world peace. And I believe it was started in 95 so we could be ready for 2020. Prior to 2020, there was very few opportunities to laugh online. It felt like we needed to be in person to get the energy, but we know now that it does transmit through the airwaves, and you can laugh 24/7 online now, and it changes everything. It gets us out of stress and into joy in an instant. It's not about thinking. When we're laughing, we're full on present. We're not thinking about yesterday, that thing we did, or the meeting we have coming up. We're right here, right now, in the present moment. So it allows us the opportunity to be more creative. When we're stressed, our frontal lobe disconnects. Blood, lymph, oxygen leaves our brain and goes into our muscles so we can escape the situation. Not that we need to escape today. If we lose our keys, we get into a stress state, but it's not life-threatening.
No. Okay, so when you say laughing online, we can do that 24/7. What do you mean by that?
So there's laughter clubs around the world. We don't need to know the laughter is the language. So we don't need to understand. If I go to a club in Japan, I don't need to speak Japanese or understand Japanese because I'm just following along. They may say some words in Japanese, but then we're playing and we're laughing in laughing language.
Okay, so there are actual clubs online for this laughter thing. Okay, yes. I did not know that. How do people find those?
Well, I guess by Google. I mean, I have a club on Tuesday mornings. It's free, and it's been 4 years. I started in June of 2020. It's 30 minutes of super fun self-care, and I incorporate tapping, brain gym, Qigong. My goal is just to help people get out of stress and into joy, because when we feel good, we do good.
Right. Okay, so that's yours. They can get yours. Also, I'm curious for people all over the world, they can just Google laughter yoga sessions, or how do they find the laughter clubs?
Yeah, laughter yoga clubs, Laughter Yoga Club International, and maybe a certain country if they wanted to travel to a certain country.
So I learned something. I didn't know there were laughter. I know you have your gig going on, and certainly you can put that in, the show notes so people will be well aware where to find you. but I'm just curious about all over the world. You said, I mean, that's curious and kind of interesting to be able to log in wherever you are and visit different people laughing all over the world. That sounds like a great cultural experience to me to visit a lot of them. So I guess you could just say Laughter Club Japan, Laughter Club and try different countries, right? Hmm,
Absolutely.
that is
Yes.
fascinating because there is something very unifying about true joyful laughter, not, the joker, villain, evil laughter, but pure laughter. Okay, great. So laughter yoga is not actually yoga, right?
Correct. So the yoga part
Hmm,
of laughter yoga is the practice of the laughter and the deep
right.
diaphragmatic breathing. So
Mm,
there's a lot of like deep breathing, and when we're laughing, we're exhaling. Ha 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 ha
right.
ha. We need
Yes.
to take a nice deep breath in so we can continue
Mm,
laughing if it's at a joke. Or
hmm.
the beautiful part about laughter yoga is it isn't jokes or comedy. There's little games, so the body doesn't know the difference between real and
Mm,
simulated laughter. The
hmm.
brain does. So for
Hmm.
people who had never been to a laughter club, I do suggest people come twice. The first time might be weird. Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, whenever we start a new job or we do anything new, it's
Hmm.
new neural pathways.
Hmm.
So laughing for no reason, I mean, there's lots of health reasons, but with no
Yes.
stimulus, no jokes,
Yes.
the ego might be going like firing off. What are you doing? You look ridiculous. Why are you laughing? Stop it. And the body's going
Hmm.
pew, pew, pew. Wow, I feel great, right? When we're
Mm,
laughing, we're secreting the love drugs, dopamine, oxytocin,
mm,
serotonin, and
hmm.
endorphins versus
Hmm.
cortisol and adrenaline when we're stressed.
Right. Okay. So, I was an actress for many years. So, you're correct. When we're acting, we're pretending we're laughing. Okay. But the brain is seeing us pretend. So we're still having those feelings. Does that make
Correct.
sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's laughing for nothing because if you're not an actor, that seems crazy to pretend you're laughing, right? You're still getting the benefits. Right? On the flip side, if you're acting in a role that is horrific, it does affect you. And you've seen actors that were in a serial killer role or something, it did affect them sometimes to be in that. It does affect you to play roles that are not good. So, okay, so literally people turn up and so there's no jokes happening. I thought maybe there were jokes and things like that, but it's literally like everybody we are going to that sounds like um, acting lessons. Like we're just going to laugh. So they're not laughing at, usually you're laughing because you have a thought and the thought impulse makes you laugh. So you're saying you're helping people to laugh when there's no joke.
Yeah, so there's little games to inspire the laughter. So the laughter leader will guide the games. And there's
Hmm.
clapping. So when we're clapping palm to palm. So we're activating
Hmm.
meridians. So
Okay.
already just clapping, we're getting energy. The
Hmm.
rhythm is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the words
Hmm.
are ho, ho, ha, ha,
Ah.
ha. And this part, when I was introduced to laughter yoga, I thought the clapping was so ridiculous. I was like, what's happening there? It's really for the people that are in their head, the very serious
Ah.
folks who are
Yes.
like, you want me to laugh for nothing? And then, their ego's piping off like, what's going
Yeah.
on? So this gives
Hmm.
them something to do. Like it's like
Mm,
Pavlov and the ringing of the bell and the dog salivates. Same
right.
idea. When we start going ho, ho, ha, ha, ha at the beginning of the club, our brain goes, oh, happy time. And it starts secreting the love drugs. We kind of get in position to,
Right.
we're ready to giggle.
Okay. Wow, amazing. Okay, now what got you into all this? What's your story? And also tell us about your composting company. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and what led you here.
Yes, thank you. So the worms led me to laughter. It's the 22nd it's the 22nd anniversary of Cathy's Crawly Composters.
Mm,
Selling worms by the pound for indoor composting. Worms in the house, who doesn't want that?
right?
It's
Yeah.
okay. I've met them. It's fine. So I'm located in Canada, just north of Toronto, largest city in Canada. And 2002, our landfill closed. It filled up. The landfill filled. And
Wow.
although it's Canada's second largest country in the world, we
Hmm.
couldn't find a place to site a new landfill, and we started to export our garbage to the U.S.
Okay, I did not know that we had a lot of your rubbish coming in.
Not anymore. We found a spot.
You found a spot finally somewhere in that vast land. You found a spot. Why you think there'd be some spots? Big. There's a lot of space in Canada where people do not live, right?
Correct. So the
Yes.
challenge is the government. I say shame on us for shipping our garbage out of the country, double shame
Mm,
on the Americans for accepting our garbage for cash. And I'm not shaming the
mm,
people. It's the
mm.
decision makers. The government was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's still room in the landfill. Today's garbage fit in, so they don't need to think about it."
I didn't
They
plan.
didn't
Yeah.
plan. And then it filled up. It's
Yeah.
like, now what do we do? 6 million people in the greater Toronto area, half live in
Mm,
condos and townhouses
mm,
without space for outdoor composting. And I had a solution. So, although it's a pretty heavy topic,
mm.
I believe I was divinely guided to do this business. And
The laughter one or the
the
composting or both?
composting and now the
Got it.
laughter, but the composting, I would set up a booth and I would have a table wherever I could
Hmm.
in O2, educating people about why they needed worms in the house. And I didn't
Hmm.
realize that people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. And they didn't want what I
Right.
had,
Mm.
but they needed it.
For their indoor plants?
I started as a waste management tool. So the
Hmm.
worms are going to play an ever increasing role in waste management, soil production, and therefore food security. It's so big. This
Hmm.
little worm plays such a big role in our life. In North America, we've destroyed our soil with growing monoculture, corn, wheat, and
Yes.
soy, acres and
Hmm.
acres,
Over and over.
over and over and over, right? And when we don't have biodiversity and of different plants,
Hmm.
we need to apply a lot of chemicals. And so we
Mm.
do. And
Yes.
now we have
Mm.
genetically modified, and that's a whole nother heavy topic.
Hmm. Yes.
This is the way nature intended, to take the scraps, the clippings from our food, our potato peels, coffee grounds,
Hmm.
and compost them into plant
Yes.
food.
Right.
So that's what the worms do. Compost is great. Worm compost is greater. It's more processed by nature.
Mm.
And the compost and the roots have this symbiotic relationship. It's perfect
Yes.
plant food and
Hmm.
creates this immune system for the soil. The pathogens
Right.
are always present, just like they are,
Yes. Yeah.
flu, cold, whatever is around. But if we have a
Yeah.
healthy immune system, we don't get sick if somebody's sick beside us.
Right. In Australia, we all had composters. That was the thing.
Yes.
Every household had one of these round things, and you would turn it. You would stick your grass cuttings, all your peels, everything, and leaves, everything. And people would, it was just known that Australians had their composter in the back, and it was a round tube, and you would just turn it to make it, you know, blend. You have to turn the composter. And then that's what we would use for our gardens. So when you're saying worms, is it just worms or is it actual compost with other than worms? Or it's all just, I'm curious about that. I'm a bit confused actually.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yes. So they're in a container, so they're not free range
Mm.
worms wandering
Right.
around your house.
Right.
They're in a
Yeah.
box, or, say a Rubbermaid container,
Uh-huh.
some kind of tote. Although there are systems for the people that want a
Right.
system. And it's a carbon nitrogen mix, just like outdoor composting or just like the system you had.
Mm.
The carbon is your shredded paper, leaves, straw, cardboard. And the
Hmm.
nitrogen is your food scraps, your banana peels,
Right.
coffee grounds,
Hmm.
manures if you have rabbits or guinea
Mm.
pigs, your
Yeah.
vegetarian animals. And then the worms are in that. So the bedding is the carbon, the shredded paper, and the
Okay.
food. And they eat it all. They eat
Okay.
all of that. And their poop
Okay.
is
Now
the
I'm clear.
soil.
It's not just worms. It's the actual compost and worms are in there.
Yes,
Part of it.
exactly.
That's where I was confused. Thought, why would you drag the worms out of the compost? Okay, so this is for people for their gardens, not for indoors. You said something about indoors. This is to use on their gardens, right?
Well, this is indoor composting. So this is for people that live, ideally, I mean, I have a lot of customers that live
Oh,
in
so it's indoor
houses.
plants.
Indoor composting. And then you
Right.
can put the compost on your plants or in your garden outside. Yes.
Got it. Okay, it's indoor, outdoor. It's for both,
Yes.
right? Okay, there was the confusion. I thought, well, first it's only worms, and now it's only indoors, and you're just putting it in the indoor plants. Most people aren't growing fruit and vegetables in their house, inside the house, right?
That's correct.
So this is really for indoor plants for people that are apartment dwellers, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. And for people that aren't, who are growing their own fruit and veg in their garden, it's fantastic. Okay, great. So now what got you from there to the laughter? I mean, we should call this the laughing worm, right?
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So 2012, I'd been in my worm business 10 years. And in '02, I realized people were afraid of what I had. They didn't want it. So I was like, how am I going to put worms in every living space? I took on school
Mm.
workshops. Over 75,000 students have seen my presentation. So beautiful.
Wow.
2012,
Mm.
one more person said, ew, worms in the house. And I heard it. I felt it. I questioned everything. And the very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga. I don't
Mm.
do yoga. I know it's a fine thing. I jumped to the fun yoga. And so it's,
Mm.
as I said, it's not jokes or comedy. It's laughing as an exercise. And what the laughter yoga did for me, it helped
Mhm.
me to become more resilient. I think on a
Mm.
certain level, when somebody said before 2012, when somebody said, ew, worms in the house, I took it personal. Like
Mm.
something about me was they didn't like.
Mm.
And what the laughter did was made me realize, they're just not ready. Not yet. They're not ready for the
Mm.
worms yet. So now I can get them
Mhm.
laughing and then I can introduce the worms after. I used to come out, yay, I have worms and you need worms. And I'm very animated and it's probably fun to watch me, but on a certain level, they're like, yeah, no, I'm not having worms in my house.
Mhm. Okay, well, I guess they're afraid the worms are gonna come out of the pots and get in the house and be all over the place. That's probably
Well, I
the
have a
bit,
psych degree, and what I realized was people were maybe traumatized as a child in the
Mhm.
schoolyard after a rainy day or a
Mm.
fishing
Mhm.
incident. So if you were
Mhm.
traumatized as a child by something, you're not looking to that as a
No,
solution
to
as an
be
adult.
yeah, exactly, and the whole cliche is the boy in school putting worms down your top or, that's the cliche or yeah, and also there is that thing, the visual that the worst thing is the worms, like, on a corpse, like, in horror movies, the worms are coming out of the sockets, right? So, I get it. Okay, so how has yoga laughter changed the lives of some of your clients? What's can you give us some example of, somebody that started doing it and you? I mean, how has it changed your life?
It has helped me tremendously. I've been laughing since 2012, really laughing since 2020 when the world shut
Okay.
down. Before that, I was doing
Mm.
between 100 and 200 events a year. I was a hamster. I
Wow.
was going. I was here, I was
Mhm.
there, I was everywhere. And 2020 came, and that's when I started my online club. That's when I took laughter
Mhm.
serious. There's no room at the
Uh-huh.
end. That's what that's what COVID showed us was there's
Yeah.
no room. So we need to look
Mm.
after ourselves. The government is not here to help us in that
Mm.
area. That's not their role. That's not their
No,
role.
it's not their role, and I will share that, during COVID, many it didn't hurt my business because people needed what I do, which is helping them to get clients online. And you're right. I mean, it's never about sitting around hoping for some other person, government, whoever it is, to save you. And I think to just go on a little tangent here, I think that is a big problem. People are always looking to be saved, and we've got to just save ourselves, right?
Right, we're looking for the magic bullet. We're like, what's the
Mm,
magic? What can I take? What's the
yeah.
supplement I can take?
Right.
And then I feel great. It's like, no, it's there. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Certainly get help, though. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying relying on governments to save you when we have to do our own work. Okay, great. So, and how many people have you helped learn how to laugh?
Oh my gosh. In my club since 4 years, I get 25 Zoom squares every week, and four,
Hmm.
4 or 5 of those are groups. So there may be 20
Oh,
or 30 people in those classrooms, or I do a lot with special needs. So I would say
mm.
hundreds, hundreds and hundreds.
Has anybody told you, like, has it like drastically changed? Do you have any people that have said, oh my goodness, this has drastically changed my life? Has it helped businesses? Has it, you know, is
Yes.
it just, oh, you feel better? Or is it like, this has changed my life and this is how? How has it changed lives?
Yeah. Well, I had a podcast host come to my club, and on the Tuesday, on Wednesday, we were recording, and I asked her in our pre chat, how did you like the laughter? She said, I want to talk about it online. So
Mm,
when it came time we talked about worms and sprouts and then the laughter. And she said, I came to your club on Tuesday. And she's a pretty happy person. She
hmm.
smiles a lot and has great energy. She said, when I came to your club and saw all those people laughing, I started crying.
Oh, the opposite.
Right. And so I was like, oh. And so she turned her camera off. She dealt with the tears and then came back. And she said, when I saw the people laughing, I started crying again. And I said,
Mm.
wow, thanks for staying. Because you came to laugh, not cry. I get it.
Mm.
But what happens is, so for her, she said, I'm a pretty happy person. But she said, I think when I was a child, my joy tube got blocked. So coming to
Mm.
your laughter club, it was like Drano for her joy tube. And she said, I can't wait
Mm.
to see how much joy I can experience now.
Wow. Yeah, that is funny. I guess that you would cry if you're like, well, sad that you aren't laughing. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, that's kind of not hilarious. That's ironic, really. That oh, all these people are happy, and I should be. Now I feel sad because I can't do that. Very interesting. Okay, so I guess this whole movement by your doctor that started it is just to get as many people in the world to experience joy and laughter. Is that what it is?
Yeah, his goal is world peace. There are laughter clubs in over
Mm,
120 countries.
wow,
North
that's
America's a late
amazing.
adopter, so yoga's kind of just arriving. Laughter yoga's still in the
Hmm.
ocean.
Mm. Oh, okay. Right, right. Okay, well, listen, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if you want to reach out to Cathy, we have everything Cathy in the show notes, and there'll be details on how to join her laughter club. She'll have a link there. So, what's one thing that you would like to leave for people as a mindset or a thought that, like, if you had somebody that you met, let's say you were at an airport and you just sat down next to somebody and you had a chat, but you were never going to see them again. What would you tell them about life and mindset?
I would say a couple of things. If they have a business, without awareness, action is impossible. I came up with that with my worms because if
Hmm.
people don't know about it, they're not doing it.
Hmm. Yes, right.
And the second one is to ask for help. It's
Mm.
no for sure unless you ask is my second
Hmm.
favorite expression. And that's the truth. If you think, oh,
Hmm.
they're going to say no and you don't bother
Hmm.
asking, then you already have your
Mm.
answer.
Exactly. It's never going to be yes. Well, thank you for that, Cathy. Two very important philosophies to live by. Cathy, thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Please subscribe, please share, and please keep turning up to get more of the gold on business, wealth, impact.
You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jean Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jean Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact.